Sleep, they say, is vital for overall health and mental states, to keep us functioning properly, but just for overall good health, right? But what if, as a child, your sleep patterns have been disrupted? How does this really affect us? Does it have any impact on our brain? Don't go anywhere. Hi everyone, I'm Toyin Okunuga. I'm the author of Hush to Raw. Hush to Raw is my memoir. It's a story of love, childhood trauma, but most importantly, my recovery. So today I'll be talking to you about childhood sexual abuse and the long-term sleep problems that this results in. So I have keen interest in childhood sexual abuse, and it's owing to my many years of research into what happens to the brain of a child, apart from the devastating effects and impact of the body violation that the sexual abuse itself has. There are other psychological areas, physical ailments that people do not even have a clue have any bearing on our lives growing up as adults. So my many research that I did into what happens to the brain is was profound, and so it's as a result of that. It's also as a result of my study in psychology. I have been doing some courses, including those courses on childhood adversity, young adults and their mental health, and introduction to cognitive psychology. But most importantly, the reason why I talk about sexual abuse, childhood sexual abuse, is because of my own story. I had a lot of traumatic events in my life, and one of those events was sexual abuse. I won't be going into the whole story of my own experience. I am just here to bring awareness about the impact that it has on the brain and the sleep patterns. So I was abused from 12 until I turned 15. And I am living proof that sleep is thoroughly is affected, is impacted. What I didn't know was that it had any bearing on the brain. So today I would just like to bring the awareness of the gland that is responsible from my research, responsible for sleep patterns, regulating sleep patterns, and that's the pineal gland. And although the research I did, it was known that there's not a lot that they know that this pineal gland is responsible for, but what they do know is that it produces the hormone, various hormones, including melatonin. So many people might know that melatonin is solely responsible for sleep, regulating sleep patterns, and if this is disrupted, it will have a huge impact on our day-to-day functionality and just the whole, just the well-being of how we want to be, how we want to conduct our daily day-to-day activities, because we have not slept well. So, and we know that insomnia, there are a lot of adults who have insomnia, and I had it, and I now say I don't have it. I never knew that that was the term that it was coined as at the time. All I know is that I never slept well because I was abused by a very close family member, and at night I would get so scared and I would sleep for maybe like 3 hours. And that stayed with me for a very long time. Even now, I only, sometimes sleep 4 or 5 hours, and even though I don't feel like it's impacting me now, I think because I was used to it, I'm just blessed that I get now solid, deep sleep for those hours. But I can say that the releasing of my book, when I wrote my book, it was the most cathartic release and experience, and I now sleep well. It's amazing because ever since I sort of like poured my heart into that book, I go right into the detail as to my whole experience. Writing, of course, is a form of therapy in its own right, and I started this from a very early age. But sleep, I can say from my research that it is vital. So my keen interest right now is no longer about me, and people might think, why are you coming out with your story? I no longer see it as something that is to do with me anymore. I just know that our children are out there, many of them some of them being abused. We know that it got worse during pandemic in different countries, and I always think back to see the sleep, what it's depriving them, how this has a domino effect on their academic performance, but their overall well-being. We need to stop this. But what I can say is that academic performance is also impacted as a result of sleep, of course. So we need to raise our voices to the rooftops to make sure that this is heard by those in authority who can impact change in this area, which is like a silent killer. So my message today is that if you are a carer, someone who has any influence in a child's life, and you notice that a child is sleeping during the day or just not, sleeping odd times and not at night, I would delve deeper just to see, or I mean, not intrusively, but I would just like to say it could be more sinister than just the child getting tired. It could be that their sleep at night has been disrupted. Not to raise alarms, but we know it happens. We can't close our eyes and say that everyone's okay, we're all hunky-dory, because we hear these statistics. In other videos you'll see that where I mention the statistics of children that are at harm. And yeah, that's the awareness I'd like to bring, that the childhood abuse and sleep is huge. So guys, I would really love you to continue with me on this journey. I release videos Tuesdays and Fridays. What can you do if your sleep has impacted and you've got insomnia? Reach out to your medical doctor. Exercises, eating appropriately, keeping my weight down was a big thing, but the most important thing that I did that enabled me to sleep better was meditation. I also know that walnuts, but please, if you're allergic to nuts, don't have them, but walnuts apparently has melatonin in and it helps with the sleep, but please don't take walnuts as a form of a nut. So if you're allergic, please don't take them. But yeah, but there's so many things that you can research into, but medical help is what I'll say you should seek for if you feel you have insomnia or having difficulties sleeping. So yes, that's all I'd like to say today. But if you want to know a lot more about me, there are free ebooks at the bottom. There are also links for you to to consolidate your learning and to also validate what I've just said. And if you really want to know a lot more about me, Hush to Raw is your baby. It will give you a lot of insights. The information there runs deep. You'll be enlightened, and I promise you'll be transformed from my stories, and you'll be blown away emotionally too. So yes, that's all from me today, and I love you all. I'd like to say, remember, your inner child has a voice. Don't suppress it. Let it roar. Thanks for watching. Bye.